All right, we are here, episode 3. I know, Alice, you normally do this, but you got the giggles today, so we're just gonna go with a side quest. Got a table, let's get that out of the way. Got rid of the couch and the chair, but we're also talking about adding new things. We added a table. Robinson County Community College, what do they got?
RCC announced that they are now launching their own athletics program. Late 2025, they're expected to have a baseball program and women's soccer.
That's super cool.
We'll have more sports to talk about. We got to add it to the list of things to talk about on Palmetto Playbook.
Add it to the counties, add it to the list, and I think we're excited for something new.
Our endless list of things to cover in our giant market.
Our local sports just keeps growing. So that's really cool, and I'm really excited to talk about that when it rolls out, or as it begins to roll out.
Yeah.
But I think, as we always will do, maybe start with Coastal. I mean, that's always kind of the biggest thing. We got
College
around
football's
here.
right around the corner. Everyone's already had their media day.
Yeah.
Everyone said what they needed to say. Coastal was pretty interesting. I mean, got a lot of new faces.
Yeah, I actually just talked to the team a little while ago. Over 40 new names on the roster. I think that's kind of the thing we're seeing around all of college sports. But when he just said it, it kind of stuck to me. I mean, a roster, what is it, 60 or 80 people, and 40 plus of them are going to be new guys, and that's college sports today. But it's crazy. It's a brand new team, and we're going to have brand new quarterbacks. You always talk about the quarterback battle.
Oh yeah. I mean, the quarterback battle this year, Coach Beck was saying it at Media Day. This locker room with these quarterbacks, it's going to be a competition this year. Obviously, the two kind of going for that starting position, Ethan Vasco, Noah Kim, the other 3 guys are pretty young. They're doing pretty good, Coach Tim Beck says, but it's really the question of if it's Vasco or if it's Kim.
Yeah, and both of them were kind of getting to practice too. You kind of saw them both going back and forth. I'm not going to give any spoilers because you want to show the team practices or plays yet, but
Nope.
it does seem like it's going to be one of those 2 guys. But also, I got to talk to Coach Tim Beck, and I kind of went backwards. Instead of everybody was asking questions about what week 1 of practice is like, I went back and was like, what was it like at New Orleans, your second time? You get to bring players back. So here's Coach Tim Beck talking about Media Day.
I mean, I thought Shane and Zach did a tremendous job for it, representing our team, representing Coastal. It was fun. I like New Orleans is a good town, and the media is good people, right? At the end of the day, they're all good people, and everybody's excited about the season. That was a big thing, big message that you see from most teams.
I've heard coaches say that kind of maybe has like a mental click that the season's right around the corner. Now that you started practicing it, are either of those true?
Yeah, I'd say the media day kind of, when you get there and you see everybody and you see the other team's players and you see the other coaches, you start to realize like we're getting ready to play. And certainly when you practice, right? Now on Thursday, we're a month away from opener.
So I can only imagine how fun New Orleans is. I've actually never been. Has anybody been to Bourbon Street?
Never.
My dad lived there for 2 years and said the humidity made him want to leave. But that's all I know about New Orleans.
And you live in South Carolina now,
the
and you're
humidity
like,
sometimes makes me want to leave.
It can't be worse than Houston. I've dealt with the Houston humidity.
Interesting connection, though, with CCU. I was talking to Matt Bullock. Apparently his cousin is a walk-on this year.
Yeah.
So he's trying out. I think he played quarterback for the most part, so we'll see if he's in that quarterback competition. Or I asked him, like, is he one of those players I would consider a different position? A lot of they push him to wide receiver usually, something else, especially if quarterback, they're so deep in that position. So that'd be kind of a cool thing to see, a local connection with CCU. And
do we send meteorologist Maddie B out to report?
oh, absolutely. He's going to be our
With a microphone
insider.
on the sideline.
Live report, he's still on the sideline.
He's still on the sidelines.
No, but that is a cool connection.
And it's cool to see the walk-ons. That's always a cool story.
Yeah, I mean, and especially Dabo Sweeney was just talking about this the other day, the changes theoretically with the NCAA and the amount of scholarships that you can hand out. His frustration and concern is that with no limit on those scholarships, that walk-ons are going to be basically eliminated, which kind of defeats that whole college experience for kids who, hey, maybe they know they're not going to be out there on the field all the time, but they want to help in practice. They want to be a part of the team.
Yeah, someone actually asked me about that the other day, how walk-ons are going to work, and I was like, I actually don't know. I don't know if now you would just walk on and then get a scholarship. I mean, maybe it's one of those things I can wait
And
and
if
see.
you don't have that walk-on opportunity, I mean, Hunter Renfro, who went to Sockasty, he walked on to Clemson, and he ended up having that amazing catch in the national championship game with Trevor Lawrence. He eventually comes back, has another great season, and goes from literally no major scholarship offers, I think, out of high school, took a chance on himself into going to Clemson, and then he made it to the NFL, where he was playing for the Oakland Raiders, and then he obviously went into with Las Vegas in their first year. So that's kind of a cool opportunity where you say you need the walk-ons,
Yeah.
you know, and I hope that sticks around because, you know, there's a lot of great players that don't fully develop.
Yeah,
in
you
high
see it
school,
every few
you know?
years at least. Somebody comes through that way. But
It's always a miracle story.
yeah,
There
that's what we
always
love
is.
too. The Cinderella
Yeah.
stories. I mean, we'll talk about the Olympics in a bit. That's kind of what makes March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Walk-on stories. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean that's what people want. Even if you're not like a huge fan of the team, but you hear the Cinderella story gets kind of picked up with national news, and everyone's like, well, now I want to root for that kid. I want to see how he does. I think that's great.
Yeah,
But
that's why people become big fans of those small little schools during March Madness. Like St. Peter's a few years ago it was. Yeah, everybody all of a sudden became a huge St. Peter's fan.
Yeah.
And it was a school nobody had ever heard of.
I had a gripe with March Madness. We'll come back to that another day. That's like you're already like you're just kind of opening the
mad.
can a little bit. I'm like, no, just keep it in.
We have months until
yeah, we
that.
have months until I gotta start like airing out my grievances. So
but back to, you mentioned Clemson. We want to talk about Coastal and Clemson. You
Yeah.
mentioned everybody having their media days. Coastal coming in third in the East behind JMU and App State. I think that App State game is going to be electric here. I got to go to App State last year. They finally got the win. Can
the
they
road.
win 2 years in a row now? Here is going to be maybe the tough part because it had been like home team wins every time. So we'll see now if a road team, maybe it's going to go like road team wins for a little bit. So
that's actually just more impressive too, just to win on the road, because you're being booed against, or you're being cheered against, and
Yeah.
to come out on top.
And that viral picture with everybody in the end zone giving the birds, like you had to blur it out. It was, I mean, that was a ruckus.
A ruckus.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was crazy. It was that fan base is wild.
I just didn't realize you were so old picking up ruckus. Sorry.
Anyway,
I'm the only one though that hates preseason polls.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like to me, a lot.
especially
you're-
now. I mentioned all those new kids.
There's
I
so
mean,
much
we have no
shifting.
idea who's on what
There's
team.
so much change, and like you said, 40 new faces at Coastal Carolina. I mean, how are we gonna know? And they talk about the experts, and they talk about the comparisons and the metrics and all this stuff. Why can't we just go into the season and at zero,
Right.
and zero, no rankings? You know, just let's have the first. I like how the college football rankings don't come out till later in the season. Let's see your body of work before we can fully start looking. And now I know they got the AP poll and the coaches poll and all that stuff, and people like rankings, and it's fun to
Right.
do. But the preseason one, that one drives me nuts.
Yeah, especially like the ACC poll has Florida State in the lead, you know, winning that title, getting a spot in the playoffs with the new system for the playoffs. But Florida State lost so many people last year after their whole thing, and a bunch of people just saying, you know what, I don't even want to play in the bowl game because this is annoying and we should have been part of the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. That's going to be, because sometimes they are close. You know, it is like a good overview, but it's not close when you start nitpicking 8 versus 9. But I think the top 10 usually, it gives you an idea. We know who's going to be.
And especially when these teams are coming in with new quarterbacks. I mean, this is the first time in, 3 years that CCU knows week 1 isn't going to be a McCall at quarterback. He's now at NC State.
Yeah.
You know, you just talked about Florida State. I think, isn't Uiagalelei, isn't he now, he's now on his
He's
third
gone.
stop because he
Is
was
he?
at,
Oh, yeah,
I think he was
yeah.
at Clemson, then he went to Oklahoma State, and I
yeah.
think he's now at Florida State now.
Okay.
So you got all these just complete changes, especially at the quarterback position. You know, as an Ohio State fan, I know you have 3 years of someone and then you put in someone new, a lot can change, because last year was probably one of the hardest years to be an Ohio State fan. I think Kyle McCord was our quarterback, and that change, it takes a while for them to get those first team reps and an understanding. And, you know, is Ethan Vasco, is he going to be, he has the most experience, but, you know, someone would come out in camp and have a better showing, and we'll see what happens, but no one really knows. Let's get that first game under the belt, see what happens, and then we can put the rankings out.
I think they're just out there for fans, for bragging reasons.
talking
They're for podcasts.
To make
Exactly
a podcast
like
for us
this.
to sit here and
Exactly
talk
what we're
about
doing.
it.
Topics to talk about before the game actually starts.
But maybe one last note. I think it's going to be cool because a few years ago, if we would have started this, Coastal Carolina and Clemson kind of were at the tops of their conferences. Now South Carolina kind of always has to play catch up in the SEC. This year, I think Clemson being picked second is going to give them a chip on their shoulder. Coastal being behind App State is going to give them a chip on their shoulder. South Carolina is just going to have a chip on their shoulder being the SEC. So we kind of have like the same storyline for all three of our major teams that we follow going in, and I think that's going to be crazy. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who
I'm
could-
just glad we don't have any big coaching changes, because that's like the other thing with programs like Alabama and Michigan this year, these top programs that people always had at the top of their polls and everything. What is it going to be now? No Nick Saban, no Harbaugh. What are they going to do?
That's
Not
crazy.
steal
having-
our play calls.
That is. I mean, we went through it. Obviously, not to the level of replacing Nick Saban, but we went through it having Tim Beck
Jamie
last year.
Chadwell and
So
Actually,
we'll
that's
do
going to
it.
be a team to keep your eyes out for. Keep an eye on Chadwell and Liberty, what they're going to do.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot he went to Liberty.
Playoffs.
Liberty, Liberty,
Liberty.
Liberty.
Now, every episode, you have to make sure we get copyrighted somehow. Now it's still Liberty Mutual. Dang it.
My goodness. Speaking of copyrights,
Copyrights? We can't show you highlights of this. But no, Conway baseball star from, I can't remember how old he is now, but made his debut with the Atlanta Braves this week.
yeah.
Had a pretty good showing, left the game after 5 innings, was leading against the Brewers.
Yep.
Braves did eventually lose from some relief issues.
Yeah, it was cool though. Grant Holmes, I mean, he's kind of one of those guys who had I think 10 years in the minors. You know, it's not like he was the #1 pick and then just like, hey, now I play for the Braves. They didn't even get drafted to the Braves. So I saw a crazy stat. He was the second guy ever in like modern baseball to have 7 strikeouts. His first 7 outs were strikeouts. And he literally was out there doing his best Kenny Powers impression that he possibly could. Because Kenny, if you haven't seen Eastbound and Down, it's a great HBO show. It's a little raunchy for like that would be a warning to if we have any young viewers on the podcast.
Don't watch it.
Ask your parents.
Anything
Viewer
on HBO
discretion
Max is good to
advised.
say, like, hey, just maybe ask your parents.
Yeah.
Stay away
but
from Game of Thrones.
It's one of those crazy comedies. It's set here in Myrtle Beach. They filmed it right at Pelicans Ballpark. It's
Did they really?
Yeah, it's really, and you see them going down the main strips, and they show that restaurant with the big giant crab, and so all the scenery
When did
is
the
very,
show come out?
very familiar.
Yeah. I think I want to watch it
08?
now.
Yeah, I was going to say mid
Oh,
2000s.
that's a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Oh,
was-
so it's an older show.
yeah, it's wrapped
8
up.
to
It was
12.
like, I think it was 5
Give myself
seasons.
yeah.
5 seasons. But yeah, ties with Myrtle Beach. They don't
Why
use
didn't
the
you lead
Pelicans, it's
with
the
that?
Myrtle Beach Mermen,
Oh, I actually
which if
petitioned
we-
to change our name.
Well, they do Kenny Powers night every once in a while, and they will wear Myrtle Beach Mermen jerseys, which are pretty cool. That's been my fantasy baseball name for the last 4 seasons.
We're not talking about
We're not
fantasy
talking about
baseball
fantasy
in this
because
episode.
you're in an imaginary fantasy league.
I'm still in it. I just don't know how I'm doing.
But so the connection too is, I mean, I'm sure people know with him being from Conway was a huge deal. But I mean, now he really looks like him too. It's like, I mean, I feel like he has to
Long
know.
hair.
We gotta
Just
try to find
leans
a
into
I'm
connection.
sure a
it.
ton of people DM him
Because
or
it's
say something
like
in person.
it's the
or-
mustache, it's the hair, it's the Braves. I mean, that's just like a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
But the 7 strikeouts, 8, it ended up being 8
Yeah.
is insane.
5 innings, 3
you
hits.
can't- The first inning was wild. Strikeout, 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 and you're just like,
You come out
who
that
starts
strong.
a career like
Yeah.
that? It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. It was cool.
Unfortunate. Hopefully, it's only up from there. But
Yeah.
the Braves struggled to close, and that seems to be their issue. So
Props to him. I mean, 10 years, going through the farm systems, things like that. I mean, that's the thing about baseball. We were talking about the draft, I think, last time, and 20 rounds of just picking players that you don't know. And I mean, you could be top first-round pick and not pan out, and then, I mean, baseball is one of those weird sports because you can be in the farm system, like you said, for 10 years now, and that's when you finally get that call-up and your shot, and when it's your time, and it might be
Right.
You
never know how long
It
it's
might
gonna
never
last.
be your time.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
well, and you have to think
Yeah.
too. Like it's not just tough on you, but by then I want to say he's almost 30 now. Like by then you most likely have family or a partner, and like when you get up and move to another team, like you're not just moving you anymore. You're moving everybody, and it's usually at the drop of a hat. Like you never know what's going to happen. Dave, you and I were talking about this. This is a major league thing, but my team, the Blue Jays, episode 1, we talked about, that was my go-to team.
Of course, you had the shirt on.
Yeah, I did. The Blue Jays, actually, this is a little fun fact. They played a game against the Red Sox, and Ashley, our producer, huge Red Sox fan. Well, you're a Red Sox fan too. Their catcher, Danny Jansen, played in a game this month against the Red Sox that got postponed. Fast forward, Danny Jansen has now been traded to the Red Sox, and they play a game against the Red Sox on August 26th. When they postponed that game, Danny Jansen was supposed to be at bat for the Blue Jays. And so now when they play the game, the Jays will have to put in most likely a pinch hitter just because he's not on the team anymore. But Danny Jansen will have to play in the Red Sox lineup because they had to make room for him by getting rid of another catcher. So it's just like you're talking about trades and things happening at the drop of a hat. You mentioned people get traded mid-game and leaving the game.
Yeah, one of those went viral the other day.
Literally,
Yeah.
He's like starts high-fiving people in the dugout, and he's like, goodbye.
Like, see you later.
He's just, okay.
One of the
But-
Tampa Bay Rays, he sat in the stands for his final game with the fans a
I
little
did
bit
see that too.
before he ended up leaving town. But yeah, baseball is one of those wild.
Fluid sports.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie Moneyball.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of my
That one I can
favorites.
get on board with.
That's one of my favorites. You just sit down
He's
and
counting
watch.
down, but we got Moneyball.
Well, you did not lead with the fact, like, you're like, oh, it's just a show. Yeah. You didn't say, like, oh, it was filmed in Myrtle Beach. It's based on the.
Where else?
Where I'm going? No, you gotta
buried the lead.
You gotta bring me in to want to watch the show. Now I want to watch it. So there you go.
It's pretty crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I recommend it for everybody. It's wild.
Well, I'll let you know next episode if I liked it. But now we cannot ignore the elephant in the room, the Olympics. The Olympics are now, day 5 by the time this is recording, day 7 by the time this comes out, and it has been wild. Pretty
Yeah.
good so far.
Yeah, USA at least holding the lead in total medals. We're not. It's funny. It depends on what channel you watch, what order they put the golds in order, or
Yeah.
if they put the total medals in order.
So the Olympics does it by gold, I think. That's how they organize who's the best is by gold. But a lot of I think
The TV
stations,
stations
yeah,
are-
will do it by number count.
Which I wonder if we do it by gold, if we were winning in gold and not total.
It's-
So
overall,
it's
we
kinda
have the most, but I believe last time I looked, I think Japan was up there.
Yeah, China had jumped
keep
Japan
going
with
there.
9, and then we've pretty much held on. It was 30-something, 35, 36, and France is catching up, though, in total, too.
I didn't realize
as
that
the host
France had so
country.
many good players, or so many good athletes. I shouldn't say players, but
Yeah, I think it helps, too, though, the home crowd. They didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
to travel far. I
Right
think
next to the
Well,
Eiffel
they know.
Tower.
they can bring more athletes because you
La
didn't
Tour
have to
Eiffel.
pay to fly them 4,000 miles. There's a lot, I think, that goes into it. But
I think
but it's
watching
been a great
it
start.
is even from the NBA perspective of the rest of the world is catching up.
Yeah.
You sit there and you look at the NBA, the best players in the league, they aren't even connected to the States. You got Jokic from Serbia, you got Wembanyama from France, Giannis from Greece,
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. I know he's playing for Team USA, but he has ties to other countries, and I think he was born overseas.
Yeah, I
and
thought
then
he was
came
born in
over.
Africa, so I didn't know how that
And
worked.
so
but-
just a bunch of different, but it shows, and everyone talks about going back to the Dream Team. That was one of David Stern's goals, was to grow the game. So now you see that, and you're seeing all these other sports. I think I was watching bikes or BMX last night. That was kind of cool, And you're seeing people from China, Japan, and all these other countries that are playing and competing in these sports that
skateboarding, Japan's been really good.
Skateboarding
for
was
years.
really
I really
good.
like the X Games, so I can
Yeah.
kind of.
we watched skateboarding, and that one was when it came down to it. The top 4 players were 2 from Japan and 2 from the U.S. And it ended up. I think Japan took gold, but U.S. took the silver and bronze. So, I feel like the U.S., even though they don't have all the golds, they're just, if they're not taking gold, they're taking 2 of the other 2 medals. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, you can
It's
have that
happened in
one.
swimming a couple
We'll take
times.
these.
We get silver
Yeah.
and bronze. And
Yeah, it's happened quite a few times, and I think the Olympics is so fun because you just get to watch sports that you would absolutely never watch, otherwise.
And you try to learn all the rules
Yeah.
throughout the entire Olympics. You're like, I'm going to know this sport like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Jost is so
That's
funny.
I didn't, I heard the voice and I'm like, is that? And then I saw that, oh.
apparently
okay.
he's a diehard surfing fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's he
Scarlett-
from?
Well, I know he's been living in New York
Yeah, exactly.
since he's
So
been
I'm
doing
thinking,
SNL.
not a lot of surfing.
However,
No, no.
Scarlett Johansson was on the Today Show talking and saying that he's a huge surfing fanatic and loves whenever they're on vacation to go out there. So he has ties. I'll be like, okay, that's cool.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I was kind of confused during the opening ceremonies why Peyton Manning and Kelly Clarkson were
that
were
was
talking. But
interesting.
I can get behind Colin doing surfing since he does seem to have a very connected passion to the sport.
And I love that we've just named Snoop Dogg as like the Olympic icon or the Olympic like mascot.
Yeah.
It's great.
He's at every U.S. or they did a shot of Jordan Childs. She was pointing at someone in the crowd to Simone Biles, and the camera panned to him, and it's just Snoop Dogg out there dancing in the crowd. I'm like, that's the kind of support, that's the hype man that everybody needs.
He's getting the whole special. Michael Phelps going swimming.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps, he's getting the full treatment. What's the hashtag? Follow Snoop, follow the dog or something. It's
Oh,
Road to
gosh.
the Dog.
I don't know.
He has his own hashtag that you can follow.
He also has his own Olympic pin.
I was just about to
His
say
Olympic
that.
pin,
With
I
the
would-
little, I don't even, what do we call
the
that?
little like smoke rings.
Sure, as Olympic rings.
Yes, as
I was
Olympic
trying to
colors.
I
make
haven't
this as
seen it.
family friendly as possible.
They're just, you know, he just uses it in a machine.
Yeah.
But I want those. I want that pin. If there's any other pin in the Olympics
That
I
thing's
want,
worth money.
that's wild. And I mean, that's
Yeah.
like a tradition in the Olympic Village is
Pin trading.
pin trading.
It's like Disney, but the Olympics.
The Olympics. But no, I mean, we have a lot still to cover, and by the time next episode comes out, we'll be able to take a look at how well we did, and I'll be mentioning.
Dave just dropped a
This is
pen.
why we can't have nice things.
I have to mention Team Canada every once in a while. We haven't been. I think we have 6 medals at the time, but
Yeah, Canada.
well, we're more Winter Olympic type people. That's where we get
That
most
makes
of
sense.
our medals.
I try to not make my Canada jokes, and she just walks right
She makes
into
them for herself.
You know what? It's not a joke if I just call it out. But before we move on into our local area of Olympics, you got to mention Team USA has now set a record on Olympic medals.
Yeah, I found this online, and it really hasn't been getting as much traction as I thought it would. I mean, Sports Center retweeted it, so I guess that's kind of as big as
That's
you get.
traction.
But yeah, but USA is the first country to ever hit 3,000 medals in Summer and Winter Olympics. And the thing that I just thought was crazy, so I started looking at the Wikipedia page of what countries that where. It's not even close. So USA almost has more golds than any other country has total medals. USA has 1,100 something. Obviously, it's going to keep updating. And USSR
I was
used
gonna
to
say,
have
'cause
multiple countries
technically,
playing.
yeah.
So it's not even fair anymore just to say.
Do they combine, USSR, do they just combine anything that was?
It's
at once?
weird now because now Russia's the IOC blocked them, and so it's. But anyway, they have almost 1,200 total medals.
Countries that are still
and
countries.
USA has 1,100 golds, 3,000. So no one's even close to 1,500, and we have 3,000. It's just. That's wild to me because we don't even have the most in Winter Olympics. It was Norway, which I was
Really,
kind of
Canada?
surprised.
You had the one chance to come out on top, and it's Norway.
So it's just that gap. I didn't think. I mean, I know U.S. has dominated in Olympics in past, but not to that extent. Double the amount of medals.
And they usually have a lot of athletes that go
We do usually have the most
We can send them.
participants, but
Yeah.
No. But no, I mean, speaking of people we send, we've been sending, I specifically sent them. No, the U.S. has sent some Carolina natives, and we're kind of taking a little peek now at how well they've been doing. Quick on Emma Navarro from Low Country. She is a tennis player and was actually just eliminated this week after a 3-hour match against an athlete from China.
That's
3
crazy.
hours.
tennis is crazy. How long those you would know?
They're long
Yeah.
games. Eventually, there's just a point where you're like, do I want to keep hitting the ball?
You're like,
It's hot out.
How bad do I
I'm
want this
tired.
medal? Can I get
Yeah.
bronze?
Can I get bronze?
What was
Do we
there
get
was,
participation
that Australia
trophies?
Open one that went 24 hours once or something crazy? I forget what the record is, but it was.
Yeah.
At that point, do you just shake hands, call it even?
Well, they do postpone them, right? When it gets dark, and then they go
yeah,
back the
you
next
can't
day
play
and then
in the dark. So most of the time, it's just all right. Let's wake up tomorrow, continue
keep
the
going.
match.
That's wild.
That would be
Exactly.
awful. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'm not an athlete, and I can't be an athlete for reasons just like that. I would never want to get stuck in that. But yeah, so Navarro was eliminated. But some other news that we are looking towards. Melissa Jefferson, we talked about her on the podcast last week. She was part of our trivia as well.
Yep.
A CCU runner. She will actually run at 9 p.m. on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. So we'll finally get to see her perform. I want to say it's a 100-meter sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was right behind Sha'Carri Richardson, and she's the fastest girl in the world. So I'd like to think they could gold, silver that. I mean,
Gold,
if
silver.
you're right behind
Gold,
right
silver,
behind the
that.
fastest person, I don't know who's going to come and I mean, maybe somebody will sneak in and it'll be close, but that'd be real. If she can get on the podium, that'll be a really big story for us.
We were also talking about Asia Wilson in the last episode too, and they've been performing well so far in the Olympics.
Yeah, over the last couple of days too. South Carolina just announced a couple games. They're going to be playing East Carolina and Wofford, some Carolina schools for us, and UConn is always a big game. And having Asia Wilson be, I think you can argue now. I don't even know if you can argue. I think she's the best player on the planet. I mean, and she led the team in scoring the other day. It was like 24 points. I mean, it's to have her, because like South Carolina has been so good, and we talk about how many awards they get, to have like an alumni that is now kind of outside of Caitlin Clark, the face of basketball, is really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, Team USA beat Team Japan in their first outing, and I think they'll face Team Germany on Thursday. So we'll see how that turns out as well.
Yeah.
So those are some pretty good looks at the local South Carolina talent, but we have some notable wins.
Oh, yeah.
Especially talking about gymnastics.
Clark Kent?
Clark Kent, the pommel horse, what do they call him, the pommel horse nerd or geek or something?
He called himself a nerd, so yeah.
That's what we're like running with, and I was like,
yeah.
dang,
We're
is he offended? But like,
Well, he's done the Rubik's Cube more times on
Oh my
TV
God,
than
he
yeah.
does it during the interviews, and I can't
Yes.
even listen to him talk because I'm like,
You're just watching him do, yeah.
he's not even looking at it at that point.
And then he goes, oh, sorry, I messed up, but finishes it in under 10 seconds. I'm like, what? That should be your Olympic sport. Why is that not an Olympic sport?
Give it time.
Honestly,
We'll get there.
Yeah, we will. But no, he helped Team USA, like the men's gymnastics team, win
The
the
pommel
first.
horse.
Yeah, well, they won the first,
team medal.
Team
Team
gold
medal,
medal
thank you. I was
since
trying to think of what it was.
2008.
which is like, and he sat there all day, and people were like, he's sleeping, but he was actually just like meditating or like getting in the zone. And every time it flashed him, he was just like this.
Like this, and then all of a sudden he just whips off his glasses and runs out there to the pommel horse, and he's like, "I got this.
I got this, guys.
Don't
I've
worry."
got it in the bag. Don't worry." But no, he does, and he nailed it. I could
Yeah.
not imagine the upper body strength it takes to hold yourself up and then twirl around on the thing.
whole
And it
bunch
looks
of
like he's gonna like
times.
break his hand when he's
Yes.
like doing those
When he goes
full
all the way
spins.
around once, I'm like, how did you just do
Oh, like
that?
when your arms
Yes.
bend, I'm like, there's no way
Yeah.
that's. I would like you guys to get tested. Did you
Yeah.
change out a joint legally? Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, he had some pizzazz when he touched the ground too, you know.
And I think
He
he
gave
just
it a whole
knew,
performance.
like it was just that performance.
Yeah.
That was his only task.
That was his job.
What I saw a meme was
His
like,
job was
this
pommel.
Ken's job
Yes,
is
I was
pommel
just gonna
horse.
say.
Oh my god, that is. But no, that was amazing. And then you have on the opposite side, you have the women's team taking home gold by like a decent margin too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Proving some people wrong.
There's
kind of.
a lot of
They were
Twitter
supposed to
beef
win by so
between
much.
former gymnasts and current gymnasts.
Exactly.
But either way, Simone Biles.
I like that we hyped that up so much though, because it was
Yeah.
like they got the silver without her. So then you add Simone Biles to your team, and it's like, of course we're gonna win the gold. Like we got
absolutely.
the silver without her last year.
The way they
Or
score
4 years ago.
gymnastics, though, in like when you're watching, my husband was so confused because he's like, I don't get it. They were just in the top 3, but now it says like they're not even
Don't
in
get
it.
my mom started on this.
The way they score
She
it.
like it used to be a perfect 10 was your thing, and now it's like a 14.65. She had a whole rant on this. So
Well, and then when like you go through it, Elijah
They're
was
on
like
the
holding on
podcast.
to me. He's like, they're gone. They're not in anymore. And I'm like, oh, I should just wait. Like, it's because they're doing like what 4 different things at the same time. And then I had to drive to work, and he goes, that's it. USA won. Spoiler alert. USA won gold. If you're actually, I'm not.
If you don't know
spoiling-
this by Friday.
Yeah, if you don't know this, that's a you thing. That's a you problem. But no, so then not only do they take home gold, but that puts Simone Biles as the most decorated U.S. gymnast. And she still has 4 competitions to compete in to win more medals. And
Yeah.
realistically, she's probably going to be on the podium.
when
for
I
all
fell
4.
down my Wikipedia wormhole looking at all the countries and how
to go
many, I found
Yeah.
like, because they say that for the U.S. but there's another Russian gymnast who won like 14 medals. So I didn't realize that was, because you always just hear that she was like the most decorated, is going to be the most decorated, because they were talking about that 4 years ago in Tokyo. And then
In Russia,
I was
I think that was
I'm
one of
like,
their
who
biggest
is
sports.
like 14 medals is crazy. And Michael Phelps is 23 golds, but you know.
23 gold. But
you
swimming
know.
has so many
he would
more
be-
like categories.
I also Googled what place Michael Phelps would be in if he was his own country. He would be like 35th place of all the countries if
awesome.
Michael Phelps was his own country. So that's just.
Good thing he's not, I guess. Then it'd be taken away from the U.S.
Yeah, we'd only have 1,000.
950
900
less or
more.
something.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But even then, I think after watching gymnastics, because I watched the finals, that is one of the like scariest sports. And last Olympics, they talked about how Simone Biles had the twisties, I believe is what they called them.
Yeah.
And it comes from like the vault, like doing the vault performance. And I see why. Like putting in perspective during her, what's the one where it's like she's on the square and she's running back and forth?
On the floor.
The
like
floor routine, thank
Yeah.
you. I couldn't think of it. Where they say that she caught like 12 feet of air. And that girl is 4 feet tall. She's
Yeah.
not actually 4 feet tall, but she's really short.
She's short.
No, it's incredible.
So it is, and then during the uneven bars, one of Brazil's gymnasts during practice cut open her eyebrow, had to get stitched up,
Oh my
and
gosh.
still medaled for Brazil. The team got bronze while she performed with
Nope.
a black eye,
That's
essentially.
crazy. That's
So
awesome.
that's a tough sport, and I will sit on my couch thinking, oh, I think she over-rotated. Oh, like just become a professional gymnast judge.
See,
But-
I always say in my head, and there are so many memes about it, you're watching and you're like, wow, that was perfect. And then the commentator will be like, she's never made a worse mistake in her life. And I'm like, what? But she just, whatever. I know nothing.
I
Yeah.
always notice like commentary for like anything gymnastics, they're just so down and depressing. Like it's not like, oh my gosh, did you see? Oh, that's not good. Oh,
well, that's
man.
gonna be a-
Oh, that's
that's gonna
gonna
be a
be
tenth of a point
Oh, there's
penalty. That's
oh,
what
they've
they
been
go
working
to.
so hard. Oh, that's not gonna be good. I'm like,
Oh, step out of bounds
Good
there.
Lord.
That's a third of a point.
I mean, it's usually
Three
former
tenths.
gymnasts, and let's be honest, those gymnasts spent years, sometimes decades, being penalized for the same things, and they're like, oh no, and it might just be like,
They're like, now it's your turn.
yeah,
you have to be a perfectionist to get to that level, I guess. But
gotta figure out some way to hype it up
but
on
then,
TV,
yeah,
man.
get
'cause
somebody
you're,
whose job is to.
Because
Because you're
Yeah.
throwing me
Yeah.
off. I'm like,
Well,
oh,
they
I
have
thought that was good,
commentators
and
for
all of a
that.
sudden, like, oh, that was not very good. Oh man, oh no, oh.
Are you a Minnesotan all of a sudden? Oh,
I don't know.
No, it's not good.
Somebody.
Yeah, it's been.
Well, they had Lori Hernandez commentating for it,
Oh,
and it was pretty
yeah.
good. But like, I feel like because she was on Team USA when she commentated on Team USA, I think she was almost more critical about little mistakes because she probably knows those girls more, knows how well they can perform if they did miss something.
And that's who I'd rather hear from, is people
Mm-hmm.
that current, you know.
Yeah, recent
I think
people you've heard
Allie,
of.
she's been on it too. Allie Raisman, I think she's been doing a lot with Team USA. It's like those are the people that I kind of want to hear from, not someone from 1972 or the 80s
Yeah.
and stuff. And you know,
We live in the glory
respect
days.
them for what they've done, but I want to hear because the sports change. You know, things happen.
Even
Like
how they
right
keep
now,
score.
well, basketball. They have Dwayne Wade doing a lot of play-by-play now. I mean, he was on Team USA more recently than someone else who's
Like Charles Barkley. Or,
yeah. And I mean, Charles is going to bring the entertainment value, but I mean,
He
I
always
think the
does.
game
Yeah.
has changed since he's played. So when you're hearing more from Dwayne Wade, so you kind of got to see. But I mean, there's so many sports. I mean, Peacock's been doing a crazy job, and NBC. This is like the first time ever where if whatever you want to watch, there's a
It's
camera
there.
on it. You just go to Peacock and you can find everything all at once, which is awesome because there's
Yeah.
been so many years where you're like, oh, I want to watch that event, but you can't. I mean, and you're learning so much more. Like I think water polo has really been something fun to watch. Handball, there's a thing called netball,
What?
which is literally basketball without a backboard.
What?
I don't understand.
So they just have the
It's so confusing. It is literally basketball
Yes.
without a backboard.
So you just got to be more precise.
So why don't we
is
just
all
send our
switched?
basketball team to do this?
Wait, is the ball a basketball or is it like?
It's very similar, but it's
So it's
literally just a
hard.
plastic net. Without it looks like a net of a basketball.
Even handball's pretty
Handball,
similar because
yeah.
we used to play that in like gym class in high school.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Somebody had tried talking to me about handball the other day, and in my head, he was like explaining the rules, and I was like, I was picturing
I picture-
dodgeball.
Oh, okay.
I was
yeah.
picturing
Kind of
dodgeball.
where lacrosse. It's dodgeball, basketball,
So some of those sports are,
a little bit of soccer with the net.
and you were talking about like Peacock having the accessibility for all sports. I think a lot of people were really into rugby like shout out Alona Mar. Like I had no idea how to like play rugby or where to watch it. Alona Mar comes out on social media, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I for sure am cheering for Team USA, and
that's one sport I never thought we'd win a medal in is rugby. Like
we got bronze, right?
Yeah, because once we hit that gold medal match, I'm usually a pretty optimistic person, but I was like, we were just going to get blown out by New Zealand or Australia in the bronze medal game, and we ended up winning on this crazy, like, Auburn's going to win the football game, like 90-yard, I don't even think it's called a touchdown, but, on the try. Is that what?
On the pitch, that's all I know about rugby.
But
all I want to say is this is Canada's time to shine. They beat Australia and lost to, because they lost New Zealand. And so they medaled in silver in rugby. That's Canada's claim to fame now. Silver. Thank you.
All around.
Thank you. I just needed
I'm
to
going
point
to say
that
I
out.
think handball is going to be the new pickleball.
Oh,
What is the
handball
ball
is-
like?
well,
Give it time. I think
Is it soft? Is it like a
no one
dodgeball?
even knew what pickleball was like 10 years ago.
I still don't know
used
what
to play that
pickleball
in
is, if I'm being
gym class, too,
honest.
and
That's the only
Not a
thing that I
pickleball
remember
fan.
was
I have a
when I was
gripe
like
with
in
that
fifth
sport.
grade.
I have a gripe with a lot of sports, but
you said, but back to rugby.
but back to the handball. What?
No, let's go back to rugby.
What is the spoon?
run it back. Wait, should I Google what a picture of a handball looks like?
Yeah, like so.
It's like a
what's the?
dodgeball.
I'm gonna do it.
Is it a soft dodgeball though?
Kind of.
I wouldn't know. I
Kinda.
never played.
But you watched
I can't
it.
feel from television.
Well, you would be able to see like what's their grip on the ball like.
Solid.
Oh, okay. So then it's not squishy.
It's a solid. No, it's
It
a
looks
solid
like a
grip.
volleyball slash a
Okay.
soccer ball. Look at this.
Oh,
It
Can
kind
you
of seems
imagine?
like
It does
it's.
not look like a
It
basketball.
kind of just seems like water polo
Without
on
the water.
land, essentially.
But back to rugby.
back to rugby. They actually pulling out a bronze. We actually had Steven Schlink, one of our reporters, had the chance to go to Paris and do some reporting for UNC, his alma mater.
Yeah, he just graduated from there a couple
Just
months ago.
graduated, joined the team again. We're really thankful he's out there because he got us some prime coverage. He was able to talk to two North Carolinians who played for on the rugby team, which are Nia Tapper. She's from Beaufort, North Carolina, went to UNC too, and this is her second Olympic appearance. And then we have Sammy Sullivan from Fayetteville, went to Army West Point. This is her first Olympic appearance. Obviously, this is their first Olympic medal too because it's the first for USA history.
Right, wow.
But they actually talked about some really important things, kind of their journey from North Carolina to Paris, and Stephen got to talk to them. So we're gonna take a look at that.
That's where I started. That's where my journey with rugby began. And so without UNC, without their club team, without Jonathan Atkinson, I wouldn't be here today.
It's been nice to meet some fellow North Carolinians in the Olympic Village.
So being able to have a piece of home with me on the team makes the job a lot easier with all the stresses that comes with it.
Well, congratulations to those bronze medals. You were in the middle of drinking, weren't you?
We're keeping that in.
Congratulations to those bronze medalists, bringing those back to the Carolinas. We're really proud of you. Now,
USA.
USA.
I can't. Give me one of those. Not that one. I can't take it. It's sacrilegious. I'm Canadian.
Then you don't get one.
Dang. But now we're talking about Olympic sports that we wish were in the Olympics. And I'm not talking just actual sports. This could be any activity.
Oh, plot twist.
What is something you think that you would love to see in the Olympics that you could win gold? Or maybe like podium at least. But obviously preferably gold.
Who wants to go first?
First thing that popped in my head is flipping pancakes.
Are you good at flipping? Like
He's not good at it.
Do you want to?
I can
I don't
prove
know. You can.
you think you could medal? Do you know how many?
And pancake flipping.
Yeah, but do you know how many like restaurant?
Tegan is my witness. We made
Oh,
pancakes every
right,
morning
right.
at UCLA. George Hansen
we
was there.
did that. He made pancakes every morning. We got up
Did he
so
flip them
early.
well?
He flipped them 5 feet in the air.
At first, when you were telling this story, I was thinking like you guys have pancakes every Saturday or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's
It's a tradition in the
that's
sports
cool.
department.
No, I'm totally bluffing. It was
he
just
did
a
not do
random
that.
thing. When you said random thing.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's actually absolutely a good random activity to put in the Olympics because
I am good at like the egg cracking with one hand. That is. Do you remember the Disney movie?
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Oh,
And you do the double egg crack.
What?
I had to.
You've never seen Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off?
I don't think you were born yet.
Yeah, that's why I pointed at him.
I mean,
Well, I didn't think
love
you got
that movie.
Disney
That
in
was
Canada,
where I-
and then he was my
It was
age.
called the Family Channel.
The
It was called the Family Channel instead of Disney.
But that's where. That's
But he was
when I
like a
got
baseball
introduced
player,
to,
and he like
Bobby
really liked
Flay.
cooking.
Bobby,
so
because
it was like frowned upon. He'd be like a nerd if you cooked. So then.
Oh, very
he
nice.
liked
it was
music
it was
game.
Zac
Yeah,
Efron
Yeah,
before
this is
Zac
Zeke,
Efron.
yeah,
Eddie
yeah.
walked, so Zac Efron could
I
run.
understand now.
Okay.
You're speaking my language.
On Disney Plus, look it up.
Yeah, no, but it was great. That was a good one. And he was a baseball player, decided to be a chef.
Right.
That's the moral of that story.
Bobby Flay's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. know
I already
that.
knew who Bobby Flay was, but
That's
it was
when I was introduced to him. Yeah.
it was a good cameo. You're like, oh my gosh,
That's
that's
gotta
Bobby
be
Flay.
before Entourage too, right?
Oh, yeah.
When Bobby Flay was in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, Ian, what's your sport or activity you want to?
So, not that I think I could win, but
You have to be able to medal in it.
oh well, I'll eat one hot dog while it's going on. But I think Joey Chestnut should be in the Olympics. I think that I think they should just put it all in. I want to see him over a 2-week span do the wings, do hot dogs, and then like then whatever the country is, they could add their flavor and flair to like
Whoever, like, the
Tokyo and
host
Japan. Yeah,
is?
that
Like
could be
bratwurst
interesting.
in Germany or
yeah.
something like
Pho.
that. Yeah. Crepes in France.
Ooh.
Sushi when it was in Japan or China, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
so I think I'm the slowest eater.
You would not medal, but
I-
you'd watch.
You can ask anyone. I am the world's slowest eater. I like to enjoy my food. My tradition while Joey Chestnut is eating 70-some hot dogs is to eat just one. So I'll just sit there and eat one over a 10-minute span while this guy downs 70 in that amount of time.
Wow.
And I feel good about myself.
Competitive eating.
For the 4th of July, do people from other countries come in and eat hot dogs with Joey Chestnut?
Oh yeah, it
I
was
thought they were all
Kobayashi.
Americans, 'cause like American
There's a
food.
Netflix special. Well, it's a 30 for 30 that came out already, but there's a Netflix special coming out here soon where Kobayashi is coming
yeah.
out of retirement to go up against
Because
Joey
they
Chestnut.
banned Joey Chestnut from the whole Nathan's hot dog one.
And then like, I kind of like this idea. I'm starting to warm up to it because do you see on TikTok where all those people were like, here, come with me to all you can eat buffet, and then they just like sit there and they eat. And most of these
Yeah.
people are like small women, and you're like, where does it all go? Because like then at the end, I'm full just watching. Can't. But I would watch it.
And that's the thing. I'm coming from a television perspective. I think the Olympics, at the end of the day, it's a 2-week television show. You want to bring in ratings. You want to bring in storylines. You throw in that
I
competitive
gotta do
eating.
it quick. How long can Joey do this? Keep this up.
Oh, I mean, you got to. I mean,
we
it's coming
gotta
to.
like get this rolling.
Well, it's
We
coming
gotta-
to
this
our way
needs
in
to
the
go
next 4
viral.
years, aren't we? So.
Yeah.
I
What's
mean,
the recovery time, you think?
Oh, like a day. He's a
Oh yeah,
champ.
that's what I'm saying.
Really?
And the
He's
thing
the
is, you
best.
have 2 weeks. So I mean, it doesn't have to be every single day.
Yeah.
You know, you can take a few
It's the
days
kickoff
off,
event.
let it.
Yeah, like none
you
of the
could,
sports
You
play
could do
back to back.
3. You could do 3 main eating contests a week. You know, something like that. You can do something nice on a Monday, something maybe on a
different people are
Wednesday,
good
and
at
then
different
Saturday,
ones.
Sunday to
It's
figure
not like
out.
he would do every event too.
Oh, yeah,
It'd be like track and
absolutely.
field almost.
Oh, like a team event, like making USA a
Yeah,
team.
you could do teams.
You think eventually after he competes and wins gold, then he would just start coaching Team USA so he could continue to get medals?
Yeah.
Because coaches get medals too, yeah?
Yeah.
I can't name one other U.S. competitive eater besides him, so I'd just
Do you ever
be
really
impressed
have to
with anybody
retire?
that coaches.
I mean,
I assume so. Your doctor
You're
would probably
sitting
tell you
and-
like, hey, you're gonna die if you keep doing this.
Oh
He's that
wow!
good. He might still be better than everyone when he's like 65.
Yeah.
He's just eating 55 and everyone else is eating 50 instead
No,
of 70.
no, I don't want to think about that. I'm
Is.
full just thinking about that. Okay, well, I guess you're not gonna medal, but you'll watch.
if it's something I were to medal in, I would say professional lawn mowing. I think that would be something cool.
Oh,
Everyone gets like, I don't know, an acreage of land, and you get.
Do you make
Put a
designs?
and
design
but
in it,
but I
yeah.
want it to be kind of like NASCAR before NASCAR, when all the cars are uniform. Like back in the day, every car was a little bit different, which was fun. You had a competitive edge. How can I get an edge on this person? You get your sponsors, get all that kind of stuff. You want to go electric, you go electric. You want to go gas, you go gas. But and it's
a
not just
rider or a
but
push?
it's,
You do
yeah,
have
you
to
want to
have-
ride or a push, but it's not all about
Zero
the
turn.
speed. You know, you got to look at design. You know, are we going to go lines? Are we going to go angles? And then we're going to go back and forth. So, you know, there could be like
Baseball
a
fields do
design
really
element.
cool.
Yeah,
Like
there's
it's
You can make
all
the
All-Star
sorts of-
game,
Olympic
they've had,
rings.
Oh,
The lawn.
I think that would get used a lot in the first year of
Yeah.
competitive lawn mowing.
I think I could do pretty well in that. So
I actually think you do that. At least silver.
yeah.
Tegan?
Yeah, what's yours?
Alrighty.
Oh, buckle up, folks.
I would win gold. First of all, I'm very confident. Allison is laughing at me. Microphone spinning. Give me a microphone.
I should have saw that coming.
Mile
Toss
away.
it in the air,
And
a
catch it.
million feet high, and catch
Don't they
it.
have something similar like baton twirling?
Not in the
Do they
Olympics,
in the
but-
Olympics? See,
Really? Isn't that like part of?
I did color guard for years. So you know what? Even if it's not a microphone, give me a flag or a saber or rifle. I could probably do some cool stuff.
Like Cadet Kelly style?
Yeah, exactly. Cadet Kelly. I used to have the rifle, and it's currently sitting in my attic at my house. And if I took it out, I'd probably hurt myself. So we'll just stick to microphones.
Microphones.
But yeah, I believe that.
That was a good one.
Well,
Plug yourself. I like that.
Yeah,
Just a little, check out the Twitter.
He sure went viral. She doesn't need the plug.
Yes.
Honestly.
That's fair.
Mine is boring in comparison to lawn mowing, and I already forgot what yours was.
Pancake flipping.
Pancake flipping.
Two-handed.
I know it's
One-handed
boring
egg
compared to
cracking.
pancake flipping.
I think that I am an Olympics reader. I have read
okay.
60 books this year, and it's July.
Wow.
It's August.
It's all.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
I have read 60 books this year, and I am a speed reader. I still enjoy it. I still get it all. Either that.
I don't think I've read 60 books in my
In my
entire
life, yeah.
I feel like with the reading though, it would be very easy to cheat.
How?
Well,
You just flip.
You
They
just
have to
flip.
have technology to be able to see,
see, that's
your.
just it. It's
You
like
gotta take a
there's-
quiz
some
after
VR
something
goggles
like how well did you
test.
understand this? Back with like state tests and.
Okay, how about this is
Benchmarks.
my second one? Olympic napping. I am a gold medalist when it comes to napping, and you can fight me on that. I am.
So you have to nap while Ian's mowing
While
yards
he's-
behind you.
You have to be like, you have to have those things on your brain, like have to confirm you're in REM. While he's mowing the lawn, she's flipping mics, you're flipping pancakes. Why are we all into flipping here? Flipping pancakes. No, I am an Olympic medalist when it comes to napping. Like it's alarming where like I could, if needed, I could nap sitting up like this. Like pommel horse nerd, I could nap
Yeah.
like that. There could be the Olympics going on, and I'm just sitting here like, yeah, this is a good place to nap. This is good. That's it. That's my gold medal.
It's a good
Wow.
one. If we did real sports, I was gonna say I'd like be the water boy on the lacrosse team. Come 2028, lacrosse is gonna be in the Olympics in Los Angeles.
See, there's
I was
a cap guy for
because
the
I'm not even gonna.
pool.
Oh, where he
As a guy
jumps-
who dives in and get the
Yes.
cap if you lose
Oh,
the cap.
I did see him.
They didn't even give him like an Olympic swimsuit or anything. He's just got his
like
own
a
little
very
fun
colorful
one.
one.
Bring
Yeah,
your own
exactly.
Speedo.
Yeah.
do you have a Speedo? Sure, you can go ahead and jump in the
Go
pool.
for
pick
it,
up
go
the
for
cap.
it.
Yeah, go get it.
Like I don't think that was a real like job, but like the guy was like, hey, like I already have a Speedo. I could just jump in there and get it. He's like, all right, go nuts.
Side note, really weird job, Olympic lifeguard.
Do those
Notice
exist?
that? Yes.
What?
They're literally
If somebody like
there's-
passes out or
There's
something, I
Olympic
guess.
lifeguards standing next to
Yeah,
that
like,
pool,
who
which
needs-
I'm like, these people are probably the world's greatest swimmers.
Yeah.
Do we really need that person jumping in? I
Don't
mean,
worry, Michael Phelps, I'll save you.
Because I've seen all the memes of people making fun of that, but then I saw there's always that person who's like correct everybody, and they're like, well, what if they get knocked unconscious? So that's what it's for. Like,
But do you remember a couple years ago? I don't know if it was
Yeah,
the
make it
Olympics.
Which I
It's
guess, what do you
cool.
hit your head on in the water? So I don't even know.
Pretty
But
deep
I
pool.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx
A couple
anything
years
if
ago,
somebody gets
though,
hurt.
in the Olympics, I don't know if it was the Olympics or if it was just like a national tournament, but there was that coach who jumped in the water for one of her swimmers, and I think the swimmer had actually just fainted. Like, so she had jumped in the water and fainted, and it was before anyone noticed, but she noticed. The coach did, and she jumped in the water. So I guess it does happen. I don't know where the lifeguard was in that situation. I think they failed at their job.
Where
if
were
you
you on
ask
that one,
me.
buddy?
You have one
You had
job.
one job.
One time we needed you.
But yeah, I mean, I guess there's some good ones, but water boy for lacrosse.
Yeah, I wouldn't make the team, so I was trying to think of like a way I could.
Oh, I could never make.
Like, I
the
wouldn't
team.
even be an assistant coach. I was like, maybe I could like equipment manager or something.
I would love Snoop Dogg's job. I want to pin for myself. I want to be the Olympic hype man woman for Team Canada. I would do it so well, especially because like if I get the merch, like
The Lululemon
the
merch.
Lululemon
Why does
merch?
Canada get Lululemon?
Well, isn't
Anyways,
it a Canadian
that's
brand?
my gripe.
I think it's a Canadian brand.
It is, but I still have a gripe.
So they're like, hey, let's sponsor you. I think Skims did one year for US, didn't they? That would be a pretty good one.
I think so.
not my forte.
Yeah.
Oh, when it
I
comes
think
to the
Skims
clothing,
is doing somebody else this year, but yeah, the Lululemon stuff is just nice.
absolutely, I would do anything on Team Canada just to
Just to get it.
Do you see that like when they like get to the Olympic Village and they're like cardboard beds, and they open these massive suitcases of just merch.
Yep.
That's crazy. I did see like there's a Adidas Nike controversy for Team USA because Adidas got the like premier sponsorship, but somehow Nike like weaseled their way in and like is I don't know. I didn't
saw
read
something
the full
about
story,
that, but I didn't know if that was for like this year or if it was just like over
from, like 4 years ago. Or
I
something.
think it
don't know
might have
either.
been from 4 years ago, and it was talking about the journey of how Nike is now the sole, besides Ralph Lauren, but like athletic wise.
Yeah.
I like nothing against Ralph Lauren. Everyone on opening ceremony in their like jackets and stuff, they looked like either they belonged in like an equestrian club, or nerds in a private school. Like
Ralph Lauren.
that's like
got the
you
polo
have some people
thing
with like
right on
major street cred wearing this at the opening ceremony. I'd mildly believe.
Tradition, Canada.
Yeah,
Don't mess with our Ralph
I always
Lauren.
love seeing the opening ceremony outfits, and then also like all of their reactions on TikTok. Like this year, I know Australia, all the women on the team had these like super long green and yellow skirts and like a green and yellow top, and they all just like walk in front of the camera on their TikTok, and they're like, "Why are the skirts this long? Who designed these?"
But yeah, that's it. That's all we got today.
If anyone wants to sponsor our outfits for
Yeah.
this podcast, let us know.
We're all wearing very different. Well,
promise
Al,
we
you
won't
and I
make
are
fun
wearing
of you.
similar.
Yeah, we're sponsored by
By
WMBF.
WMBF.
News.
Yeah.
I tried to go with Team USA, Captain
Oh,
America.
that
I
was
was
smart.
He went with the Rangers.
This was
Get out of here.
it was blue. It's as close as I could
I mean,
get.
yeah, we're.
It has white on it. I've got gray. It's
I've got
fine.
laundry to catch up on. Okay.
I got lucky. This is all that was clean. No, but we
By our next episode, the Olympics will be over, and we'll have an update then. Hopefully, U.S. can climb that gold medal ranking, and we already have the total medal lead. So
Let's
hopefully,
see.
next time we talk,
Simone Biles has
Canada's
more
nowhere
golds.
close, and USA is on top.
Come on.
Whoa now, whoa now.
I hope Canada wins more gold medals than you guys, just so
No
I can
chance.
come back here and be like, hey guys,
I'll
remember?
never do this podcast again.
Dave
Well,
will be gone.
next episode's only going to be the three of us. Hate to take it. Nice knowing ya. All right, well, don't forget to subscribe. You can follow us on, or subscribe on YouTube, catch our podcast anywhere you catch your podcast, so Spotify, Apple Music, I think we're on Amazon Music now. And we'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Nailed it.